help.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 thriller The Dive. The film is co-written and directed by Maximilian Erlewine, and it stars Sophie Lowe and Louisa Krause. Now the film focuses on two siblings, two sisters, who meet up once a year and generally go diving. They'll choose a different place, they'll go diving, it helps them reconnect. And it's something they really enjoy doing. So they end up going on a beautiful remote location to go on this dive. Now, once underwater, they experience above them there's like an avalanche sort of thing. So a lot of stones and what have you fall into the water and big rocks. And one of the sisters ends up getting trapped underneath one of these rocks at the bottom of the seabed. This then triggers a huge issue in the sense of they've got to get her out before she runs out of air. So the other sister has to keep going up to the surface, trying to look for options to get her out of this difficult situation. Right, what are my thoughts on The Dive? Well, at first glance, this would appear to be, you know, one of those run-of-the-mill like survival thrillers, you know, like humans against the elements sort of thing, you know, like the 127 hours and, you know, those films where you see people on top of, you know, ski lifts, you know, freezing to death. I forget the name of them. And some people on top of towers, you know, stuck and all that kind of stuff. And it's that kind of movie really, but it's underwater, someone's stuck underwater sort of thing. And I wasn't necessarily expecting to be blown away or anything by this film, but I have to say, after watching it, there is a fair amount to recommend here. There's nothing really I can give you in regards to major flaws in how the film is made or any of the performances, because it's all of a really good standard, if I'm being particularly honest. I think the director does a good job of, you know, capturing the tension here, capturing some really beautiful scenery, and all the underwater scenes are done very convincingly. And my issue sometimes with movies that are shot primarily underwater is sometimes you can't see a lot, it's too dark, or it doesn't necessarily always generate a lot of tension for me. Whereas this film does actually a really good job of highlighting the issue in a sense of you know, you got one sister trapped at the bottom of the seabed and the other sister has to keep going up to the surface. Now, one thing she's supposed to do when she's going up to the surface, because it's quite a distance, is she's got to depressurize. So when she's going up, she has to depressurize, and if she doesn't do that, every time she goes up, it's going to get more and more intense. So if she goes up and doesn't depressurize, it gives her more time to get help for her sister. If she goes up and depressurizes, it's reducing the amount of time she needs to help get her sister. So there's that for a start. And then when she gets to the surface, she's got the avalanche to deal with that's blocked off some of their equipment. She's got a car she can't get into that's got other pieces of equipment that she wants, like a jack, or more oxygen tanks. And she's got to, at the same time, try and find help. And there doesn't seem to be anybody around to get help. So she's on the surface, panicking, trying to help her sister get equipment and anything else she can find to get back down to the bottom of the seabed to help her sister. And you've got the sister at the bottom of the seabed, constantly running out of oxygen, hallucinating, and getting more and more increasingly anxious about the situation. And well, they both are, to be fair. And I think the film does a really good job of building that tension. I mean, literally, the sister running around on the surface, absolutely, you know, terrified, anxious, worried because she can't find what she needs, all this kind of stuff. And then she's got to race back down to the bottom of the seabed to give more oxygen to her sister. And it's literally, you know, it is edge of the seat stuff, really. And I think the film does a really good job of projecting that, the heightened tension that creates. And to be honest, if it hadn't have been for that, the film wouldn't have been anywhere near as watchable, and it did actually do a really good job of that, I thought. I thought the performances here from both Sophie Lowe and Louisa Krause were excellent playing these siblings. They felt interesting characters, they actually felt layered characters, they felt that there was some distance between them and they needed to kind of reconnect. So, you know, But we didn't learn a huge amount about them, but we didn't necessarily need to, just enough for us to actually care about these siblings. And surprisingly, the film does actually a pretty good job of that as well, making you care about these two characters. I thought they were well written and well performed by both the actors, in my opinion. I thought it was cleverly written as well, because really, and I'm trying to think here, yeah, there's nobody else in this film. It's just these two actors, or actresses, should I say. So there's got to be something there to keep you hooked, because it's really pretty much 99% of the time it's just these two girls on screen, and most of the time it's either focusing on the one at the bottom of the seabed having hallucinations, which is probably the worst part of the film, the hallucinations part of it, and then you've got the sister on the surface, like trying to look for answers and trying to then get back down to her sister. So, and then you've got the scenes with them together at the bottom of the seabed. Other than that, that's it. There's nothing else really to speak about in regards to scenes with any other characters. It's just this situation and scenario that is meant to keep you interested and keep you hooked. And it does. Do I think this is the most tension-filled film I've ever watched? No, of course not. Do I think my time was wasted watching the film? No, I don't. I actually watched this, quite enjoyed it, watched it all the way through, never felt bored. I thought at times it's filmed really, really beautifully. Some of the scenery is very beautiful, and the scenes underwater are shot very, very nicely. The performances are good, it's well written, and at times it generates enough tension to keep you on the edge of your seat. So this film is actually, it surprised me a little bit. It's definitely an above average film. If you like these sort of films like the 127 Hours and all, and the films in this kind of specialised genre, in this thriller genre, subgenre, should I say, then you're probably going to find something here to enjoy. It's a nicely made film, and certainly you won't be bored watching it, I don't think. So that's my review for The Dive. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please click the like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.